Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my backyard. Today is August 25th and it's my weekly shop update. So as you can see, I have been pretty busy this week disassembling the sawmill. So when I got this thing up and running back in December, I was so done with working on the mill, getting it ready to go and building it all. I just wanted to get sawing up logs and getting them out of my driveway. So that's what I've been doing for the last few months. And I just haven't had the desire or the interest to get back into doing all the stuff that I kind of didn't get around to doing back then. So the biggest thing obviously was painting the guards and the beam. So I pretty much have to strip everything off the mill in order to get that done, which is all right. It gives me a chance to kind of go through things and clean them up. Do a lot of grinding. I did a lot of grinding over the last few days to get everything looking a lot better than it was. Because when I built those, it was like 5 degrees outside, it was freezing. I just want to get it done and get it up there and get this thing working. So I'm kind of paying for it now, I guess, or at least I'm putting time in now. So getting this stuff done is really going to complete this whole first phase of the mill. If you didn't see the introduction video to the mill, what I have going right now is basically just a manual version of what this thing will end up becoming. So phase 2 will be all hydraulic log handling options, so I won't have the manual clamps on here anymore. I won't be manually turning logs anymore. All that stuff will come in the next phase, and I wanted to kind of button things up with what's going on right now with all of the stuff on the head that's not quite done yet. So that's kind of where this is at. Let's head into the shop, take a look at some viewer projects, and then I'll show you where I'm at on the highboy. First this week is an ash desk with blue epoxy inlay by Paul. When making this desk, at first Paul was going to fill the space with walnut, but he later decided to use epoxy and dye it blue. Using the blue tinted epoxy gives the impression of a river on top and a waterfall on the sides. And you can see more of Paul's work over on Instagram. Next is a set of sliding bookends by Michael. The bookends are made from curly maple, walnut, and padauk. The two uprights slide on 6 dovetail tracks, cut into the base, and can be removed by sliding them to the center where the dovetails have been enlarged. Next is a scrap wood mosaic wall art by Russell. The mosaic is made from poplar strips adhered to a 1/4-inch plywood substrate. The poplar was colored with acrylic paint, and to get a washed out effect, each piece of the mosaic was hand painted with a wet on wet technique to make sure the grain remained visible. Once the strips were all adhered, the whole thing was sealed with shellac. And you can find more of Russell's work over on Facebook, Etsy, and on Instagram. Last this week is a sofa table by Nathan. Nathan made this table for his mom's 60th birthday. The majority of the table is made from quarter sawn walnut. The inlay is butternut, and the drawer front is also butternut. Nathan says that for the drawer front he wanted something that was not quarter sawn, but still interesting visually. So he found a piece of butternut with a figure going diagonally, which he thinks leads the eyes from top to bottom. And you can find more of Nathan's work over on Instagram. So over here on the lower case of the highboy, I got all of the internals for the drawers and everything all cut and fit and ready to go. So the lower case is getting really close to being able to be glued up and assembled, and I can move on to the upper case. So the only thing left to do at this point, I think, is just to add the scroll work, which would be down here on this lower apron, as well as the side panels. That'll just give a little more interest, because right now it's cool like this, but it's kind of boxy, and I think having some scroll work along the bottom here will it'll play nicely into the curvature of the legs, which should be a much different look than what I have going on right here. So one of the more interesting things about the whole structure in here is that this is essentially a table with some drawers in it. So just like any other style of table, there's a lot of things that are exactly the same. And a lot of times you'll see like a hall table with a single drawer on top, and that's fairly simple. But what's really interesting here is that the whole setup of all the drawer structure is very similar to that. You just have multiple layers, and you have a little more to consider because you have more than one drawer, and you have then you have drawers above other drawers and things go on like that. So it's kind of an interesting piece of casework, but this internal structure is a lot more complex than the upper case, which does not have anywhere near the number of pieces that this thing has down here. So a couple of upcoming events to let you know about. On September 2nd, I'll be at the Rocker Store in Minnetonka. They're having a grand reopening, remodeling thing there. So I'll be hanging out for a couple hours, just hanging out. So if you're in the Minneapolis area or in the Minnetonka area, around that area, whatever, come stop by and say hi. And then In a couple of weeks, I'll be spending like 12 days in England, which I'm very much looking forward to. And one of the biggest things I'll be doing while I'm there is on the 8th and 9th, I'll be at Yandles for their open house, hanging out, meeting people, and all that good stuff. So if you are able to make it out to Yandles, it'd be really awesome to meet you. I'm really looking forward to meeting a whole bunch of the UK fans. So I think that's about all I have for this week. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Wow. If you have any questions or comments about anything I talked about today, anything here in my shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. I'd be happy to answer you. Wow. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.